And then we'll do the little video only
intro.
Hey everyone!
Are we live? Are we live? We did a thing.
Well, we're live and then they
Live-ish.
get it recorded.
Got
We're
it.
live to tape.
We're live to tape. We are a telethon. You get all the behind the scenes of me trying to work my iPad.
The bonus pre-footage. Guys, look at the background. See how it's different in the
It's
moving
huge.
boxes?
Yes.
We are broadcasting live from the
Our newest location.
the
Cheers.
new location. Cheers! Also, we're drinking our boozed up coffee out of teacups now. There's a lot of booze in it.
As I choke on mine.
So yeah.
Because we're classy ladies.
Yesterday, we went from all of our furniture and belongings in one house to most of our furniture belongings in a new house.
That's pretty good.
And we
I'd
survived.
say like 80% of belongings in a new house.
Or a little bit more than that, actually.
That works. I'll
There's-
take it.
Basically, right now, the dust bunnies that exist underneath couches with
Right.
Kaylee toys that are
Right.
now under there, and
Random leftover Kaylee toys.
yeah,
Right now, the toys are having that Toy Story moment where they're like, "We've been left." Poor
just
toys.
balls rolling around. There's like a pterodactyl toy.
It's gonna be okay, guys.
There's a hedgehog.
Kaylee's coming back for you, Mr. Prickles. Does Kaylee have a Mr.? That's what Stormy's
No.
hedgehog is called.
Her hedgehog is called Sonic.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, he's not blue though.
Stormy's is Mr. Prickles.
That's a good
because
name.
he's prickly.
Also, for those of you on the feed, I am wearing a news logo shirt
Yay.
because we have the news.
There's
in
a
this
news
episode.
theme story. That's totally happened on
That's
purpose.
exactly why I'm wearing this shirt. Certainly not
wearing-
that I've only moved limited amounts of clothing into the new house yet.
I'm wearing the loudest shirt I own. I'm pretty sure it's the loudest shirt I own.
I would debate that fact.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think
I've
of what others
seen-
I have. I do have some pretty loud.
Yeah.
clothing.
Alrighty.
One of the loudest shirts I own, but this one is, this one's handmade by Mexican villagers somewhere. So it's my favorite loud shirt.
So you will get used to probably hearing more Kaylee in the background of this one. We don't have a water gun. There might be some extra Kaylee barking that doesn't get edited out of this glorious.
We
Video
apologize.
feed.
Someday
There's a
I
dog.
will be
Did
editing
you see
videos.
that corgi butt that walked by
Today
right
is
there?
not the day.
I kind of
yeah,
like
every
the
time you
charm of
see a
these
corgi
just
butt,
being like.
This is what it is.
Yeah, if you are watching along with the video,
and you're drinking.
and you're drinking, one thing that you can do that the podcast listeners can't do is play a drinking game of every time you see
There it is.
A
I'm going
dog.
to try to keep up.
walk through the frame.
I'm going to try my very best to keep up.
Alrighty, we're gonna turn this on now. What episode are we on?
121.
Alrighty, we're gonna turn on the recording. Alrighty. Welcome to There's No Place Like Terra, a Stargate first watch, rewatch podcast. I am Nixie.
And I'm Grace, and I'm slowly moving the microphone closer to Nixie.
I probably wouldn't have noticed that.
No, you're absolutely right. I'm Howard Cosell. I must now announce everything that's happening. I've been listening to a lot of baseball. So, and she winds up and she moves the microphone. Season 1, episode 11, Prometheus.
Season 1? Did we go back in
Season
time?
6.
Season 6.
1 plus 5. Ha!
Well, it's season 1 of Jonas.
Yeah, the season
Oh.
1 in my heart. I finally admitted to boyfriend Jesse that I have a crush
Mhm.
on Jonas.
I
And that
have
it's
a
not
crush
going anywhere.
on you.
Prometheus, aka the one where the only fire is the one fueled by my anger.
Oh, wow.
I got real poetic on this one.
Mine is just AKA the one where Sam MacGyvers.
Yeah, that is a good AKA.
There is some Sam MacGyvering in this episode.
I just was so angry at everyone involved in this episode. I just hate Q.
Spoilers, one of the actors was not super happy at the script of this episode
Oh, my.
either, and he channeled it through his characters yelling.
Awesome.
So this first aired on August 23rd, 2002. It was written by Joe and Paul, directed by Peter, but different Peter Wussel.
Oh, that's not our Peter.
And please ignore if you heard dinging noises.
No dings. Take a drink when you hear a ding.
Take a drink when you hear a ding. Ding! and we take drinks.
And we're done.
So, the X303. We heard about the X303?
Maybe.
In a previous
numbers are hard
episode.
We hear a lot of numbers.
We meet a really big ship in this episode.
We do meet a very big ship.
Yeah.
A very cool looking big ship.
It's a very, very cool looking big giant ship.
Yeah. We know some things.
So Ian Tracy is one of the guest stars. He plays, I think it's Smith. It's just one of the bad guys.
Okay.
He's like lead camera bad guy.
Okay.
That's basically all I call him.
Is he the one that looks like Jacob from Lost?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do I know him from something?
He is not actually Jacob from Lost. He looks a lot like Jacob from Lost.
Okay.
He's been in a ton of stuff. I recognize him mainly from another Amanda Tapping show, Sanctuary.
Okay.
You have not seen him on Sanctuary since you've only seen the pilot episode so far. We're working on it, guys.
That's the thing. We're going to get there.
He's been in a ton of stuff. He's one of those guys where you've seen him because he's been in...
I kept yelling at the TV going, where do I know your face?
He's been in basically everything. And... yeah, is he in Vancouver? Is the show filmed in Vancouver? Then he's probably in it. I actually just saw him. I'm finally fine. I know, guys. Trust me, I know. I haven't seen Travelers yet because of life, but I'm now finally. I know it's Brad Wright, and I'm a horrible Stargate fan for not currently have seen it beforehand. I'm fixing it. I'm watching it.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's a pretty good. It's on Netflix.
Oh,
so Brad Wright, one of the Stargate guys.
Yeah.
It's a show and it has Eric McCormick in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know him.
Yes, and you know him as Will.
Yeah.
Yeah. From Will and Grace. And the future is Bad News Bears. And so they're able to track when people die in today world. And then right before they're dead, they send someone else's consciousness into the body and they go make sure they don't die.
Interesting.
And then they take over. And so they're...
I feel like I may have seen the first episode of the show, but I'll have to try it.
The first episode starts with like 5 different people
gunfight,
not dying.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, no.
I will watch that.
Yes.
Travelers. I'm writing it down in my notes.
Also, John Delancey's back.
It's cute.
Who do you hate more?
Oh, Q or Mayborn?
Mayborn, Simmons, or Kinsey? How loud can you sigh into that microphone?
I'm channeling my inner Stormy. Because he's a good sire.
Yeah, he is. Oh, Kaylee's too.
Gosh. Here's the thing. John Delancey is my favorite person to hate.
He's pretty good to hate.
And I mean that in I love the actor.
Yeah.
He is so good at just playing that asshole bad guy.
Yes, he is.
So I think I'm going to say Mabel. Well, yeah. I'm going to stick with him for this one. I'm going to stick with Mayborn for this one.
Mayborn still? Or Simmons? Wait, John Delancey's?
Yeah, John Delancey is Simmons. Okay,
yes.
You're right. I had him wrong. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that one.
She just hasn't seen enough Kinsey yet.
That's fair.
So I'm just going to get into the history I have for the episode right off the bat, because it's the episode name,
with
Prometheus.
Fire. The one with fire.
Yeah, it is the one with fire. And last week we're like, the giant one with fire. And guys, newsflash, we were right.
Yes.
We were talking
All
about
I knew
the
was
right
fire.
The right word instead of giant is Titan.
Yes, I know that.
I
knew that one.
Sort of the parents of the Greek gods. And Prometheus was sort of like Switzerland in the whole Titan gods battle, so we got to not die.
Yeah. Hey, we have a special cameo.
We have a special cameo
from the TARDIS phone.
Hold up. See? Okay. This is the part that you guys on the video get to see.
But nobody else will.
And will be edited out of the podcast.
The magic of editing.
Yep. Sorry.
Please hold while we deal with technical things. So
see, this used to be edited out and you never knew happened. So... Oh my God.
We're doing a thing.
We're doing a thing.
You guys while this is happening. So sometimes in real life, phone calls happen.
Yeah, I know.
and we have all the devices connected to one phone number.
Okay, we're good.
So they ring everywhere.
All the things. Well, that was actually not just a phone call. That was a FaceTime.
Even more fun. Okay, so here's what we'll do. We'll start the Prometheus story over.
Also, Nixie learned how to put Do Not Disturb on her phone when she's recording a video that can't be edited. Well, it could be, but we're just not going to. So now we're going to I'm just going to start the whole Prometheus part over again.
Okay.
The beauty you guys get in the video cast.
Where are we?
I don't know. Oh, it stopped recording.
Oh, got it.
Okay. So it's just the end of that recording.
Perfect.
It's in 2 parts. Aren't you guys lucky?
Dos.
Alrighty. So episode name is Prometheus. I'm just gonna dive. You remember last week when we were like Prometheus had
I knew
fire?
There was fire. Fire was involved.
And a giant?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, we were right.
Except
our memory worked. But it's Titan.
Not giant.
And not giant.
That's okay.
The Titans were like, the parents of the Greek gods. And
the predecessors. The Old Testament, if you will.
And they were the Old Testament, if you will. And they were sort of, Prometheus was sort of Switzerland in the whole Titans versus gods battle. So he got to not die.
Yeah.
And then one of the stories is he created mankind from clay.
Mm-hmm.
And when the gods, who are his children, basically went like, hey, don't you dare and give them fire. Prometheus went, fuck you, I'm your elder.
I'm going to give them exactly what you don't want them to have.
Here, kids, have some fire.
Now, was fire a metaphor for knowledge?
Many, yes.
Okay.
It's a real fire and a fake fire.
Got it.
Yeah. All rolled into one.
Got it.
Some stories say he basically stole the fire from Zeus because Zeus hid it away because Zeus is a bitter asshole.
Yeah, he's pretty much the biggest butthole in the whole world.
He's like up there with the biggest asshole.
He's kind of a big butthole in the same way that our villains in this like Simmons and Mayborn. And what's the last one? Kinsey?
Yep.
He's that level of butthole.
He is. So as a punishment, Prometheus got chained to a rock.
Yay, Prometheus.
And like Zeus's eagle would fly down every day, eat his liver with the glass of Chianti.
And some fava beans.
And then overnight, his liver would grow back. And it would repeat.
Livers do.
Well, when you're immortal.
Yeah. Well, I think livers do grow. No? No. Which is the one that grows back? That you can grow pieces of.
Amphibians.
I've been watching too much Grey's Anatomy.
Now that they make up facts for that episode?
They actually.
There is one part that I think can.
There's something that can regrow cell. Like you don't regrow the liver, but the cells you can make the cells grow. And one of the things that they do on the show is there's this medical breakthrough, and they're able to regrow basically satellite livers. Because they can't get the liver to grow.
You mean with stem cells?
Yes. Exactly.
Remember how we talked about stem cells a couple of episodes ago? So this is most well by you and I and Grace and you from the Greek tragedy Prometheus Bound. And it's sort of ish, depending on who you ask, written by some person who I'm going to butcher your name. Hey, Grace, say that word.
Asclepius.
Sure, that sounds Greekish. It's basically a play of monologues. Also, Percy Bysshe, Percy Banshee Shelley wrote a play in 1820 called Prometheus Unbound. Which was inspired by the original, obviously, and expands and adds all these but like other political and social commentaries. And if the name Percy and Shelley
She.
sounds familiar, it's because his second wife is more well-known than him.
Mary Shelley
Is also an author who wrote many considered to be the first science fiction novel, Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus.
So,
Mary Shelley.
Can I tell you that when I was younger, because you would always hear people say Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I thought that was her name.
Mary Shelley Frankenstein.
Mary Shelley Frankenstein.
Uh-huh.
Because it rolls off the tongue. So, Mary Shelley Frankenstein. I better name a dog that.
And she actually published that play before her husband's play Prometheus Unbound.
Because she's the badass.
Because she was 18 when she wrote it.
Jesus.
How are you feeling accomplished in your life right now?
What? Don't ask me what I was doing at 18 because I literally don't know because I was drunk. And probably stoned. I was definitely both.
So Prometheus has also sort of taken this place in other areas of history as well, especially after the Renaissance, that it was sort of this icon for standing up against the man, whether the man was church or monarchy or government, etc. It's how he stood up for humanity against Zeus. And there's also the whole flame of knowledge, the idea of having to strive for knowledge and of possibly unintended consequences when you reach too far for said knowledge.
Sure, yeah, because you could get burnt.
So, slight spoiler warning, the name of this ship becomes Prometheus.
No!
Which I'm like, then why the fuck name a ship that you had to strive for technological advancement for when that is not...
Well, here's the thing, is we've seen in the past that if you name a ship after the SG team, bad things are gonna happen.
Well, they're not being named after the SG team.
Well, that's fair.
I mean, it's not being named the O'Neill.
Or SG-related ships, they don't fare well. Is the thing
I mean, this is the SGC's in Air Force's ship.
But there was wasn't there a glider? Yeah, remember the glider that took Teal'c and...
The Death Glider?
Yeah, that took Teal'c and Jack to the middle of nowhere for death times. Yeah, guys, maybe let's just stick to Stargate travel. Stick to gate travel. Let's do that.
To be fair, we made the ship. We didn't make the Death Glider.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
That's why we made our own ship. That's why they made the X-302. Because they didn't want to have to deal with being brought to Deathlands.
Nothing's gonna happen.
Everything's gonna be fine.
Everything is fine.
Everything's awesome. Okay, so episode finally.
Yes.
So remember how there was an Adrian Conrad who's now a Gould after he captured Sam, and then we also in the flashbacks get a glimpse of Daniel.
Yeah, I will tell you that boyfriend Jesse came out of the room as I was watching it previously on. He goes, "I thought Daniel was dead," so I went, "Thanks for the reminder." We're in a flashback. I was enjoying this moment.
He walked out with perfect timing because it's about half a second.
He's just a butthole about it. Well, he's just that good at
being an asshole.
Well, that too. But he's good at observing shit.
He's a little troll.
Where he's just he's
a little troll.
It's that film nerd troll in him where he's like, "Why is that guy there?"
Also, Simmons is the fuck nugget who shocked Jack, and all that happened. So currently, in the present time, Sam is leaving somewhere. Where do you think she was?
A secret date.
Ooh, little lunchtime date?
There's something incognito happening because I don't believe that would be the car that Sam would drive.
Well, okay, I actually get to that. So she has a new car. I think it's a Volvo S60 from what research I did because I don't know.
Yeah.
It's no longer vintage. But here's the thing. I can see her as someone who has a daily car and a fun car.
Yeah.
Because she makes decent money. She has no husband, no kids. She works a lot. Like she's good. She's gonna spend money, and she likes cars.
That's true.
I can see her because I can see her the fun car, the antique one. She's not making payments on that. That's just something that she has.
She's just having fun with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about Sam being in such a boring car to me that I'm like,
a boring car.
She must have been doing her taxes.
She has listen. She has to blend in.
That's why I think it's incognito.
Oh, okay.
Because of the car.
Well, then if she's incognito,
She's doing it badly.
Julia Donovan busts that shit wide open.
Oh, you mean April O'Neil?
April O'Neil comes up with her cameraman and is like, hey, I'm the host of Inside Access, just to let you know. Because, and this is, again, Inside Access does come up in the later episode, and I just need to let you know that the I in Inside Access is an exclamation mark.
Oh, my. Okay, I'm going to say this now. I tried really hard.
Yeah.
I hate this reporter.
She's so dumb.
I just hate her. I hate her face. I hate every face she makes. I want to punch her in it. In her beautifully make-upped face. I hate her face.
Her show is on the IWN News Network, which I'm like, what does N stand for? Because if that N stands for network, then no.
IWN net.
Yeah.
Win News Network. Yeah.
It's just one of the cable networks in the Stargate universe.
She's definitely a cable anchor.
Yeah.
If she's flying to meet people and having that paid for by the network.
So Donovan is trying to ask her about a story involving billions of dollars of taxpayer money.
Billions and billions.
Yep. Of taxpayer money and the code name Prometheus. And it's so top secret there's not even congressional oversight. And Sam's just like, I'm not talking to you, bitch, please. And then Julie... I plead the fifth. Then Julia shows her some tritium, and she expects like, oh no, I don't know what that is. No comment.
What is that?
And then she just kind of peels out of there.
I would have loved for that conversation to have been with Jack. Because I feel like Jack would have just played it dumb.
Well, yeah.
It would have been the best. Like, not that that's kind of what Sam did. But Jack would have actually played dumb. Like he is dumb.
That's because that's his strong suit.
Yeah. That would have been the comedy involved in that one would have, and then he would have somehow tried to ask her on a date.
Probably. So when we come, no, I feel like that's Jonas.
Well, yeah, I don't get the same vibe out of Jonas that I used to from Daniel.
That's true.
Yeah.
He just goes into
He would
dark
have just
tombs,
smiled at her, she would have melted.
and they would have gone into a dark tomb.
Yeah.
Yep. So when we come back, Sam is in Hammond's.
It's more like the buzzed 16-year-old at a party.
That's yeah. And Sam's not quite sure that just denying the story is going to be enough this time. Like, even Julia knowing the name Trinium is proof that there is a huge security breach.
Yeah. This is not good.
It's not good. And this is post-Patriot Act America, and whether or not that's the Pentagon's already tracking every movement she does.
Yeah.
And like her computer, her phone, everything.
I do love that they say, oh, we're tracking her now. And it's like, you've been tracking her forever. Like, let's not pretend.
Yeah. And she's heading back to New York, and Hammond is sending Major Davis to chat with her. And apparently her report is set to hit the air in 4 days. So, in New York City, Julie's in a fucking stretch limo. Yeah. And I'm like, bitch, please.
Well, I was like, network reporter with a limo. My words are literally, nah. That's not happening, guys.
Tone it down. But she's, fancy enough that she's juggling interviews with the Chinese ambassador.
Yeah, she's paying for that out of her pocket to feel that much more important.
And she's heading to the G8 summit. And that's when Major Davis jumps in the car.
Yeah.
And Julia's not going to be intimidated into not running the story. Just having Davis here proves it's something big.
Yeah.
And he's not going to mince words. He's like, look, if you run the story, peoples are going to die.
Yeah.
And she keeps pressing her luck. She's like, well, I've heard it's a fusion reactor. And Davis, in turn, warns her that revealing classified information, she's violating about 17 federal laws. And that's just a warning. And before Davis is out of the car, Julia's like, well, here's a warning for you. I've already made arrangements for the report to get out if something happens to me.
I get it that she's trying to be thorough, but she also just seems so self-important.
And so
full of herself. Like, I almost think she kind of gets off on the idea of if she dies, like this posthumous award.
She'll go down.
She kind of loves that idea. And it's gross. So back at the SGC, Davis has apparated back, I guess, instant transportation. They beamed them in.
You know, you'd think that the SGC would have whatever warding that has around Hogwarts preventing you from apparating in.
Right.
Although, to be fair, they guess they don't have that in the time of Fantastic Beasts we've seen from the trailer. Don't get me started,
so
guys.
Maybe it's fairly new. Yeah, I won't even go there.
They apparate in. First thing in the trailer. You don't apparate into Hogwarts, guys. Okay. So, anyways, right now they still have no clue who the leak is. And Dave's is like, well, I just assume it's Kinsey.
Right, because why the fuck not?
Like, he doesn't say it, but I'm pretty sure Davis just assumes it's Kinsey.
You know, it's one of those round up the usual suspects type of deals. It's like, it's going to be one of, like, the three that we've met.
Because, like, don't we all assume it's Kinsey?
Yeah, I guess that's true. We do. Yeah.
But it's serious enough at this point that Hammond puts, like, a call straight to the president. And sometime later, Julia is ambushed at work in a meeting with her EP, as well as Davis and Sam.
Yeah, the smarmiest EP I've ever met.
Yeah.
And I've known my share.
Yeah.
And
he only gets smarmier as the episode goes on.
And while they can be hard asses, which they absolutely have to be, I've never met one this smarmy.
We should probably, for those who don't know, EP is executive producer.
That's a word I knew to share.
Yeah.
I knew things.
I just realized that, because I just refer to him as EP, and I realized people should probably.
I mean, people know EP. Because there's EPs in movies and things, too.
I don't know.
News EPs. Done.
News EP. Anyway, so the president apparently directly appealed to the chairman of the corporation that owns the network to kill the story. Mm-hmm. And they're also going to need all the tape sites and everything else on the story as well.
Yeah, this goes above you, lady. This goes all the way up to the 39th floor.
And Julia still tries to fight all of this. And she's already ahead of the game. She's already called foreign broadcasters. And the EP's like, can we find a way to compromise on this? Mm-hmm. Like, something this big is going to go public at some point.
Yeah.
If you let Julie and a camera crew go cover it, we'll sit on it until it's cleared, and then we'll get the world exclusive.
I still think that what they should have done, or they should have tried first, was to get Hammond in there, network style, and go, you are meddling with the primeval forces of nature, and you shall atone.
You shall not pass.
But that's my network quote that I love forever now.
And the EP even throws some NDAs in there. He's like, look, the Air Force will own the tape. They get to keep the tape, which doesn't sit well with Julia. But the EP goes, look, when the president kills your story, it's game over.
Yeah, you're done.
And if you go to the foreign press, you're going to be charged with treason.
Right.
So I find this scene very interesting. Mm-hmm. This scene is one of those scenes where when it's filmed, it's just a scene and you take it as that. And then when you watch it close to like 15 years later, it's interesting to see how the viewpoints of this scene would change. Like, what if this was CNN, MSNBC, Fox News of today, and what would happen if the president reached out himself to the chairman of one of these networks and kills a story?
Yeah.
How would different networks react to it? Yeah. Just like given the complex history between the president and the media today, it's one of those things where looking back, it's interesting.
There's a very thin membrane separating the fun from the oh shitness in this story. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I feel that and I get it. There's a lot here. There's a lot here that you can do. I mean, you could dig into this and really and I think I like that the writers do that. They like leave this on the table. Yeah. And they're like, do with this what you will, but this is what it is.
But it's, again, watching this scene, if you're, we don't know who technically is president right now, whether they're pretending like it's Bush or it's someone else. Right. But this scene, if it was Bush calling a news network or Obama calling a news network or now Trump calling a news network, it's just, it's one of those scenes where it's just interesting to see it played in different contexts.
Which is why it's better that they don't name a president, because then you're like, pick your scenario. Choose your own adventure.
It's someone else. What if it's Kinsey? What if Kinsey was president and they were calling like
my
this?
life? Yeah. coming back to the fun though, I do like the icy blue stare off.
Oh yeah.
Between our two badass bitches in this room.
Oh yeah.
It's
to
like,
be fair,
neither of these women, I will give the reporter credit for not backing down.
None of them is going to back down.
Because Sam's like, bitch, you don't know what I've seen. And the reporter's like, I ain't scared of nothing. Almost to the point of ignorance. But
I still bet on Sam.
Oh, absolutely. Every time.
So back in the briefing room, apparently they're actually quite worried that Julia's going to go to the Foreign Press and not the Golden Globes Foreign Press.
Not the Hollywood Foreign Press.
Not the Hollywood Foreign Press. Is it? That's Golden Globes, right?
Hollywood Foreign Press. I think you're right.
Awesome, because I didn't look that up.
I'm not sure. I will look it up for us.
I don't know. It's sure.
I'm gonna do it.
So apparently Scumbag EP knows who the leak is. And after Julia left, he agreed to reveal who it is in exchange for a tour with whatever Prometheus is. We, however, do not get to know who the leak is.
Yep, because then it would take away the fun later.
Which is not okay with Jack. But hey,
it is the Golden Globes.
Yes.
Good job, us.
But once they have the source of the leak, they'll just take and destroy the tape, and good old double cross for national security and planetary security.
Ta-da!
Still, Jack is super not okay with this.
This episode, Jack is very angry. That's another good AKA.
So it was Richard Dean Anderson who was not happy with this script.
Oh my.
And it was essentially, part of it was rewritten so that Jack is nowhere near the ship when this thing is taking over, because the part that RDA had a problem with is how easy these people came in and stomped all over the security thing and just took control of the ship. All of RDA's yelling at Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. So that's why he's nowhere near the ship when this happens.
I kind of like an angry RDA. I'm okay with it because he's got integrity in mind.
And Sam and Jonas will head up the tour because, Sam already has talked to Julia and it's Jonas. Everyone's disarmed by Jonas.
Yeah, he's just going to flash that grin. That Midwest smile, which she doesn't know is not a Midwest smile.
That mid-Colognan smile.
Yeah.
So Julia and her camera crew and Scumbag.
But he does have that good old boy look to him.
He does.
It works. It works.
He could definitely be in a revival of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Please never be in a revival of Oklahoma.
I've already seen the overalls. I'm okay.
So they arrive at there's tiny houses that are bigger than this building in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
But once you
there are outhouses.
They're bigger
than
this
building.
But once you open the door, it's only there to house an elevator, and they go several hundred feet down. And even if you're going to be generous and give 10 feet a floor, that's several hundred floors down.
Yeah. And they're going fast because they get there soon. I feel like at the end of that elevator, someone should have thrown up. Yeah. Because I've been in elevators that go pretty fast.
Yeah.
And it's a little
vertigo-y.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little vertigo-y. So when the doors open up, they're face to face with what will be known as Prometheus.
With the coolest industrial decoration motif I've ever seen.
Otherwise known as the X303. And we did, and then can I just say, really the doors just open to the ship?
Yeah.
There's no foyer or extra secure, I guess the security is on the surface, but there's no...
There should be someone underground guarding that thing as well.
It just opens to Prometheus.
Yeah. It's really just some unfinished project.
Yeah.
Someone walked into your garage and was like, "What's this do?" And you left the keys in the car. Come on, dude.
So we did hear the X303 mentioned when they were going to test the X302 with an Aquaria, when Jonas's first time's off. They mentioned the X303 there. Well, this is the X303.
Got it. I'm there.
Inside, Donovan isn't quite believing what she's seeing, as you wouldn't.
Yeah.
And says it would take at least 20 Saturn rockets to get this thing off the ground, let alone in orbit.
Jeez.
Hey guys, were you worried that I didn't do the math?
Oh, Nixie.
Because I did.
Good job, Nixie.
I did some research.
I didn't do any math.
So the heaviest payload that the Saturn V has carried into orbit was for the lunar missions.
Okay.
310,000 pounds. So I'm just going to round that to 300,000. 20 Saturn V's could launch 6 million pounds. or
Jesus.
2.7 million kilograms, which, and just because I know this, is how much the crawlers at NASA weigh.
You've lost me at the number. I can't keep up with the zeros.
There's a lot of zeros. There's 6 of them.
Okay.
You know the crawlers at NASA, those amazing giant like machines that carry the rockets from the VAB to the launch pads?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They go at a really amazing speed of 1 mile an hour when loaded.
Well, when you're that heavy, it's hard to move.
They get 2 when they're empty.
Shit.
And one of them's actually undergoing renovations right now to carry the SLS system, which is
carry your mom. What?
What?
I feel like there's a your mom joke in here.
Somewhere. Somewhere.
Insert your mom joke.
Something about your mom so heavy she needs a crawler to carry her.
Yeah, yeah.
That was bad.
We'll
it's like the nerd version.
And you know the problem is we're too nice, and I know your
I know.
Mom. I know your mom.
I'm like, I don't want to insult moms. I love them. Anyway, so
no mom salting.
Once this renovation is completed, this one that's being sent to launch to carry the space launch system is going to be able to carry around 15 million pounds.
You said a lot of math, and I'm just trusting you.
They're actually officially on the National Registry of Historical Places. Huh. There's 2 of them.
Are they out of the cave?
Yeah.
Let's go look at them.
I actually, when you visit, because I actually just saw them in December. When you are at the Kennedy Space Center and you get on a bus and you travel over to the Apollo building, which has a Saturn V rocket, like inside. An actual Saturn V rocket inside.
Wow.
They built a building
that's around it?
Around a Saturn V rocket.
Holy crap.
So you actually drive by the VAB, the Vehicle Assembly Building, which is so big inside that you actually get clouds up top. It has its own weather system inside the building. Because it's a giant 1-story building, essentially, because it's hollow inside.
Can you imagine being the guy that had to build the top of that?
Well, it's cranes.
Well, there's still a guy.
Yeah, you're not on the ladder, though.
Yeah, but there's still, like, things you gotta do up there.
Yes.
I think the holy shit factor is only minimized, like, 5%. Because you're like, I'm building a very expensive thing. I'm going to play the claw game, but I can't lose.
So anyways, they're sitting right outside the VAB because they go in one side. They get rockets built on top of it, and then it drives out the other side, and then drives to the launch pads.
Wow. Okay.
They're giant.
I may have to go look at those.
They're giant.
I may get the chance to soon.
You can't conceive of how big they are.
I'm gonna not find them because that's how dumb I am.
You trust me? You can't miss them.
Which one is it?
You drive right next to them.
Literally the mountain.
Unless you're looking at the other side of the bus. You can't miss them.
Okay, all right. Let's do it.
But I have pictures of them. They're really cool. Anyways, that's how much. So basically, this thing, if 20 Saturn V rockets is going to carry this up, then it has to weigh 6 million pounds or less.
Okay. That's a lot of pounds.
So
that's still heavy.
That's still heavy, but like.
So the size of this thing, it's still a ship. It's not like Enterprise size, right?
It's not Enterprise size, no.
Okay.
No, because Enterprise D is a big ship.
It's basically a roaming city to some degree.
I would say this guy is probably bigger than Serenity.
Okay.
I mean, it's definitely bigger than Serenity.
Got it, yeah.
I'm trying to think of another ship that you would know that it might be around the size of. You know what? I'm guessing it's probably the inside, the crew size is about the Defiant size from DS9.
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
That's kind of what I'm guessing.
I like that.
Is close to Defiant size because the Defiant's a much smaller ship.
Ready.
But anyway, back on Prometheus.
Yes.
Sam does admit that the ship was made using alien technology, but not little green men. Yeah. They're gray, actually.
I do like that line. I do like how she just kind of throws it away. Like, actually, they're gray.
They're gray.
Because you're dumb.
But instead
That's
of
what she says under her breath.
Instead of telling about the Stargate, she just says that the ship crashed 100 miles north of Fairbanks, Alaska in 1978 and has taken this long to get to the point where they could use it and integrate it, what they found. I did look on the map. I believe there is a tiny, tiny, tiny little place called Beaver.
Alaska.
About 100 miles north. And there's like a river.
And now I feel like there's truth to this story.
Yeah.
Because it's a fictional thing on a fictional show.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
It's the cover-up.
There
the conspiracy.
is. Because we have friends who were in the Air Force, we know that there's like Air Force things out there.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to Alaska.
Yeah. That's where...
That'll be our first on-location cast.
From Beaver, Alaska.
While in an Iditarod. So while being pulled by huskies, we will record and then watch the Aurora Borealis because bucket list. And then find these hidden things.
Okay.
And then come home.
Okay. Are we gonna find gold while we're up there too?
No, that's silly. If we were gonna find gold, we would go to California.
Okay. Okay. I've seen Gold Rush. They do that shit in Alaska.
They do that in Alaska.
Anyways, Julia's problem is that the Prometheus doesn't look alien. And I'm like, well, it doesn't look like a space shuttle.
What do you know what alien
What is
looks
alien-y?
like, you dumbass.
But Sam really says that it's... so apparently instead of using wires and chips and being all Earth about it, they're using those crystals that we love so much.
Yeah, are my favorite crystals. They're still going to decorate.
They're ready for Coachella.
They're going to decorate my pool deck is what I've decided someday.
Coachella is having a lack of crystals.
Done.
Because the Prometheus stole them all. And in the hallway, we also learned the ship can reach orbit in 30 seconds. And there's inertial dampeners and artificial gravity. And while she can fly, the support systems are all still being worked on. Back on the bridge, shit's going bad. Turns out the film crew isn't actually a film crew.
It's a bunch of assholes with Zach guns.
They're a bunch of assholes.
I cannot hold that
Instead of film, instead of film in the film recorder, it's a Zach gun. And I'm like, why do you do that to a record?
Yeah.
Camera.
How about just stick it in your pants or something? But I guess that's their way of getting it past security.
Just stick it in your pants. Seems like the place to put it.
I mean,
not in the pocket, just straight in your pants. Is that in your pants? Or are you just happy to see me?
Stick it in your pants. If you don't know what to do with something, just
stick it in your pants. But that camera's not going to work anymore because there's a Zat in there.
And just Tommy Pickles that shit right in your underwear. That's what that's called, because Tommy Pickles would keep things in the diaper.
Oh, just when you thought we wouldn't make a Rugrats reference on this podcast.
We were due.
So that's when the SFs get suspicious, and then they get zatted for their suspiciousness. And the computer lady gets to hacking. The hacker lady gets to hacking. So Sam and Jonas show Julia and the EP the engine room. And while there's not a space monkey in sight in this engine room, the important part is that Sam lays down some more facts. That the sublight engines go 110,000 miles per second, which is over half the speed of light. So in theory, they could reach the sun in about 4 minutes, given that speed. You're welcome. That was off the top of my head. Well, the sun is 8 light minutes away.
I'm glad you said that, because everything Sam said, I went, math, don't know.
Well, the light that you see from the sun left the sun 8 minutes ago.
Got it.
There you go. And Jonas tells us that we do have hyperdrive as well. Good to know. On the bridge, the bad guys are still bad guys.
These are important things to know. I feel like he should nod at the camera and be like, we do have hyperdrive. Keep this in mind.
Back in the engine room, Sam notices that the hyperdrive simulations she was running were interrupted. And when she tries to call the bridge, she's like, oh, the comm systems aren't finished. So she goes to check it out on the bridge. Back on the bridge, hacker lady is in, she says, into the computer. And the other three go head off and capture and be bad guys.
God, I really hate this hacker girl. She does look a little bit stuck in the 90s in her hacker skills.
Very stuck. And
her look. It's like, lady, it's the early aughts. It's time to update your hacker look. Done.
So at least she doesn't have like dreads and look like Angelina Jolie.
God, don't.
I broke Grace. I broke her. So Sam runs into two of them in the hallway and try to pull some "I forgot shit" excuse, and Sam's like, "I'm not an idiot," and she takes them both out and starts running as the third bad guy comes up and starts shooting.
Yeah, Sam pulls her kick-ass Sam moves, but then she's out.
And then they start chasing her. And in the engine room, Jonas notices that someone's trying to lock down the ship and tries to fuck up the system to slow him down.
Yeah. Thank God for Jonas there.
And then Sam hides in the storage room and locks the door. And they have Hacker Lady seal it.
She's kind of created her little panic room to some degree, which I guess is a smart thing to do.
And if you're going to be stuck in a room, that's the room to be stuck in, as we later find out. So Jonas starts up a full diagnostic on the system to fuck up Hacker Lady, and he goes and then removes the control crystal from the engine or whatever the hell important console it is. And in the storage room, Sam starts MacGyvering.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. This is where, we haven't gotten to that part. I'll wait.
Yeah.
She does one fun thing.
But the music starts playing. And she's purveying the scene.
I like it.
So the bad guys come into the engine room and get everyone into the corner. And we're confirmed that Julia, at least, is not in on this. April O'Neil is not in on this. But Scumbag EP gives in way too quick, pointing out where the control crystals hit.
Yeah. My notes say, "Oh, good, the producer is also a piece of shit." Because that's what happens.
Meanwhile, Sam still has the MacGyver theme playing.
So she's got to MacGyver some more things.
But the theme kicks in.
Yeah. I wish I knew it. I could. I'm just gonna say she's John McClaning it. I'm gonna borrow from MacGyver. She's John McClaning.
Okay, so meanwhile, bad guys are activating the hyperdrive generators, which is a bad idea when on the ground, unless they're trying to deliberately create an overload, because they generate lots of energy because they're generators.
Technical. Big ship go boom.
Because if it's not channeled into a hyperspace window, it could explode and take all of Nevada with it.
Yeah.
But don't worry, the cameraman says, as long as their demands are met, it won't come to that.
Oh boy, there's nothing more fun than negotiating with terrorists.
And on the surface, there's already a command center set up, and they already clearly know the issue they're having downstairs at this point. And that's when Jack starts yelling before the door is even closed.
Yeah.
We have never seen Jack this pissed off before, I don't
angry
think.
Jack is my favorite.
I think this is the most angry we've ever seen Jack.
I understand that there were things outside of the character happening, but in character, I would like to think that Angry Jack is angriest because he's not in the ship with them, with his crew, and Sam is in trouble.
Oh yeah, no, Sam's in trouble, and you don't
put a Sam in trouble, and so he's Angry Jacking at that. That sounds terrible.
And
that sounds dirty.
Davis tells him that the ship is overloading, and yes, this is the most secure building in the world, and most likely it was the camera crew who, has been working at the network for over a year, and all passed background checks.
A year is not very long for a network.
It's not. And one of them was even a decorated
take your guy who was like 30 years there.
So now they're getting a message from the incoming hijackers. Basically, they want Simmons and Adrian Conrad released, and they have 3 hours to deliver them, or the ship is going to blow. And in response, Jack does the most dramatic sunglass removal ever.
Yeah. That, anytime you try to do that in real life, though, you just end up hurting your face.
You just stab yourself with somehow.
Or maybe it's just me because I'm awkward. Also, my glasses have the thing where they fold down.
Yeah, yours do. Yeah, you're collapse.
They collapsible ones, so you do that, and then they just fall apart. You can't put them back on. And I'm done.
Well, my aviators have they have the things, but they're special ones that are made to not get stuck in your hair. Because I do the on the head sunglasses move, but then they just stab you more. I feel.
Yeah, they're very stabby.
They're stabby. So down with Sam, she's MacGyvered a comm system, but so far it's not getting through to anything.
Yeah.
She takes a little more tweaking is all.
Is anybody out there?
Mama. Back on the surface, apparently the Joint Chiefs are calling an emergency meeting over this. It's that level of rightfully so,
Yeah,
that level of
this is the most
shit.
secure thing in the world, and then it's not secure anymore.
And way too easily.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also picking up Sam's radio, so Sam and Jack catch up with each other. Make sure they're
like, hey, how's
breakfast.
it going? What you been doing? What you been up to? I haven't seen you in like 2 days. We should meet up and have some drinks. And
we should. Steak. So the ship will fly, but also could lose structural integrity. So at the moment, Sam is going to plasma cut her way out, which could take a while with the tritium alloy, and then get the sublight control, which is a deck above her.
Now, is this when she puts on the welding mask?
Almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
So in the engine room, Julia asks her VEP why he's doing this. Basically, they offered him a buttload of money.
Yeah, because I'm smarmy.
There's no political reasonings here.
Yeah.
Just money.
I'm just smarmy as fuck. Because money is the most important thing to me.
This is when we see Sam cutting through the door with the plasma cutter.
Got it. This is when she channels her inner flash dance, Jennifer Beals. We don't see this, but in my mind, she cuts the shoulder out of her... out of her BDUs. Is she in a BDU? She is, right?
So she has a t-shirt on at least.
So she cuts through the t-shirt. Like first she uses a plasma cutter to just cut the shoulders out. And then she
not
gets
overkill at all.
Nope. And then afterwards she's gonna do the dance with the chair and the water splash. That's how that goes.
Well, she does do a dance with air being sucked out of the deck later.
There is an element involved, and there is a movement against it that happens. So yeah, she gets. It's her in her flash dance. She can do it however she wants.
So basically they're prepared to give them Simmons and Conrad because apparently we do negotiate with terrorists. Simmons is all high and mighty about how this would never happen if he was in charge, and is under the impression he's coming
up. Hugh.
To figure out how to retake the ship. Nope, he's just a bargaining chip because Davis is dumb and doesn't realize he's being played. But this bargaining chip is willing to board the X-303 to save lives, but he's going to need a change of fancy clothes first.
Yeah, of course. I noticed that in the Conrad episodes, they always somehow try to corner Sam or put Sam under. Basically, incapacitate a Sam somehow. Yeah. And I don't know, I can't quite place why. But you're going to take a drink, aren't you?
Am I taking a drink for a reason?
Something is going on here, and I can't quite place it. But there's always Sam's a threat or Sam's a something.
Well, I mean, she's pretty badass.
She is badass. But they don't do that to everybody else. It's always Sam.
So the bad guys on board have heard the deliveries on their way. So phase 2 begins now. I guess that's the part where they take off. We're not really told what phase 2 specifically is. Yeah. But before they can, they have an issue that the ignition module is off. And if they're off by only 1%, the engines won't start and they will burn out. But Jonas doesn't have those settings, even under the threat of a gun. And the EP's like, well, I'm not okay with this. We were told no one's going to get hurt. So the bad guy just shoots him.
Yeah. Shut up. No one's talking to you anymore.
And then Jonas has remembered the settings.
Yeah. Oh, magically, Jonas knows things.
On the surface, I'd like to think that Teal'c personally delivered AG and Conrad. And Teal'c was like, he was uncharacteristically silent for a Gould. And I personally would have loved, just a 1 minute long scene of the two of them just staring at each other in silence.
Just to stare off. Yeah, that's fair.
It's just silence, just...
Either that or I feel like Teal'c put him to sleep and then brought him back. And so that way he says what he
knocked
says.
Him out.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
He was uncharacteristically silent. I'm just not telling you why.
Just unconscious at the time.
He's just, he was just dead at the time.
And Sam is still cutting. So the deadline is approaching.
What a feeling!
So Davis has someone radio into the hijackers that the prisoners are coming in. And in the engine room, Jonas finishes entering the new settings. I mean, it doesn't change anything. Even if you can get the ship off the ground, they can track you. Because I can help you get the hyperdrive working.
Right.
No, but Adrian Conrad in his Gould voice can.
Fucking Conrad.
And Simmons, this asshole, enters the bridge and tells Hacker Lady to release the docking clamps because this is clearly part of the motherfucking plan the entire time, and just takes the captain's chair as if he was James T. Kirk.
Yeah. This is the part because we all know how this episode ends.
Yes.
This is the part where I told Nixie he's fucking more annoying than anyone else because he's not gold.
He's not gold.
He's just human.
He's just
a human piece of shit.
He's just a human piece of shit. He's a piece of shit molded into human form.
This is why Simmons is the one that I'm most annoyed by right now. Because he's just like an asshole human.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So then we get an awesome CG shot of the clamps being released.
Mm-hmm.
So on the surface, they are now...
Oh, I have to say this because I didn't say it off the top.
Yeah.
The CG for Prometheus coming out of the ground is fucking gorgeous.
Awesome. It's beautiful.
It's really well done. It's really cool. The textures I really dig.
The texturing is really nice. It is a beautifully modeled ship.
Good work.
The lighting is great.
Yes.
And the lighting makes or breaks any 3D model, as we know.
Yeah.
But on the surface, they're actually now worried for Sam because Deck 7 isn't pressurized yet.
Yeah.
So if they make a break for orbit, she's going to be dead by the time they get to space.
Uh-huh.
You know, she won't be able to disable the ship then or, live.
Be a living person.
Breathe. From the bridge, Simmons radios to Davis that they would like to leave, so if you could kindly retract the roof.
Huh.
And when Davis is like, hold please, we're having problems with the hydraulics. Which Simmons is like, that's bullshit. You have 30 seconds, so I'm going to detonate the hyperdrive. Listen, Simmons will give it more than 30 seconds, but I have no doubts he's one of those people who's like, if I can't have this ship, no one's having this ship.
Yeah, we're all going to die. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not an empty threat.
No. So then a lot of stuff happens at the same time. Sam finishes cutting through the door and realizes the engines are starting up. So she makes a run for it because she knows that level is not pressurized. While Simmons is counting down dramatically for Davis's sake, who cuts his losses and retracts the roof as the ship flies out. And the X-303 flies. That's this beautiful, gorgeous shot of her rising and there's 3 guys for scale reference.
Yes, yeah.
And then it takes off into the sky.
And then this is where Sam's in a wind tunnel.
This is when Sam's in a wind tunnel.
And her hair looks great.
One of the 2 wind tunnel scenes for the episode.
Yeah.
Fighting through the thinning atmosphere to make it to the ladder. Well, Jeffrey's tube guy and shut the door.
Dun, dun,
because
dun.
that airlock works at least. On the surface, they're like, well, what the fuck do we do now?
Now what? Now
we just
fucking
stole
hopeless.
The only spaceship that we have that works right now.
Yep.
But it does have a docking bay for X-302s. There's none of those ready to fly. But Jack does, remember that they have a death glider in cold storage that was Apophysis.
Yeah.
Or
he's like, what toys
or...
do we have? This is where he starts to MacGyver.
Yeah. And then just him and Teal just head off immediately. And Davis, yells after them that the radar system isn't finished and they should fly into the lower bay. And the bad guys will never see you coming. Guys, I love you.
I'm trying to take me with you. Okay, bye.
So the X-303 is now in Earth orbit, and Julia really wants some answers because, is the guy with the voice really an alien? You might as well tell me because we're probably not going to survive this. And Jones is like, psh, we'll be fine.
Yeah, everything's fine. Look at my pretty smile. I mean, if Jonas just smiled at me, I'd be like, we're totally fine. We would be fine all the time. You might as well put me on a morphine drip. That's how relaxing looking at his face is. It's like, yeah, everything is fine.
Everything is awesome.
Forever.
So Simmons comes in and he's a big fan of Julia. And he gets to meet Jonas for the first time, our new alien friend. And Julia's like, you're an alien?
But I liked you and now I feel weird.
Oh, I have weird feelings.
Yeah.
Everything's all tingly. And
put it in your pants. All right, stick it in your pants. All done. It's a callback. I had to do it.
Prometheus, aka just stick it in your pants. I don't know if I can write that as the AKA.
We're almost there.
So Simmons is like, look, just sit tight and you'll be released once everything is over. Conrad is fixing the engines. It's in his best interest to, do that. And we'll deal with his gold ass later. And Sam, should have stayed with the group because her heroics got her killed.
Yeah. So they think.
Which is clearly false because we then see her sneaking around the ship.
Just kidding.
And outside we see the death glider coming on into the ship.
Yeah.
And then Sam makes some sparks because she's really good at spark making.
Now that's just her thing now. She's like, what can I spark at these spark?
What can I spark? And those sparks actually turned the sublight engines off. Hacker Lady has power but no control, and Simmons knows immediately it was Sam. So she sends some goons. They're just goons now, you see.
Yeah.
We have bigger bad guys on board.
Sure.
So that used to be was bad guys.
Now
now just goons.
they've been lowered in rank.
They've been goonified.
Yeah. I like it. They're putty men.
They're what do they call it when in
foot soldiers?
No, sorry. The basketball movie with Bugs Bunny.
Oh, in Space Jam?
Yeah, Space Jam. Remember they took the people and then they turned them into the Space Goons. That's what I'm imagining in my head. That's what I'm imagining in my head.
Yes.
Is
I don't know what they're
Space Jam's
called,
goon making. I thought they were called goons.
They may be called goons.
It was like the Goon Squad or something.
It is the Goon Squad.
Yeah. So they're goon squatted from
Yes.
Space Jams.
Yes.
That's what happens.
It is Goon Squad. You're so right.
I had the soundtrack to Space Jams. Gotta get up.
Come
It's
on
time
and
to
slam.
jam now. We got a real
Jam.
jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Here's your chance. Do your jams at the Space Jam.
Is that where I
All
Believe I
night.
Can Fly was a hit?
Yes. I believe I can fly.
That's why we all
I
know it. That's why
believe I
every
can
person in our
touch
generation
sky.
knows this song.
Uh-huh.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm ready.
Anyway.
And everybody had feelings for the girl bunny.
Lola.
There were just feels
Yeah.
happening. Okay.
What a feeling.
Okay.
So, anyways.
Where the fuck were we? Excuse my language.
Simmons sends the Goon Squad down to deal with Sam.
Okay.
And if they don't get the engine's controls back, the orbit's going to start decaying. And they're just going to spiral back to Earth and burn up in the atmosphere. So he radios down to Conrad, and he just supervillain riffs about how crude the hyperdrive is and insults our
Yeah, he's got to do that thing. Yeah, he's got to do that.
Same old song and dance.
Uh-huh.
So in the corridor, the Goon Squad comes across Sam, who tries to take out the first one, and then she just realizes that she's outgunned literally by Zats that they pulled out of their pants.
Yeah, they stuck them in their pants.
And luckily, Teal'c and Jack have arrived with their own Zats. Probably not from their pants because they have correct holsters.
Sure, yeah. They're not
and
pant Zats.
Zats them from behind. Pant Zats. So Conrad radios to the bridge that the hyperdrive is working so they can open a window right there in orbit and head to some specific coordinates that they have.
This is bad times.
And SG-1 feels the engine starting up. And they hyperdrive away. And the command center back on Earth, Davis gets a report that the X-3
It's like basically what the ship was trying to do in The Last Jedi.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It was, but in Last Jedi, they just didn't have enough gas.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Because nobody stopped to fill her up the last time.
Well, it's a combination of gas and then, you know, how we can't track them through hyperspace here.
Yeah.
They could track them there.
Right. They thought they couldn't, but then it turns out they could.
They could because of new technology.
All I'm saying is that The Last Jedi stole this from Stargate.
Clearly.
Clearly. All done.
And so as they're in hyperdrive, the engine room is now clear. There's no goons in it. And SG-1 finds, or Sam realizes they've reprogrammed the system and Sam doesn't have the new access code. So they keep moving on through the ship.
Chit.
And on the bridge, remember how earlier Simmons is like, oh, we need Conrad for now and then we'll deal with him later.
Yeah.
But instead, Conrad's like, nope, I'm going to deal with you first.
I'm going to deal with you before you deal with me.
And in the process, Simmons shoot Conrad multiple times, point blank range in the gut.
Yeah.
And when SG-1 makes it to the bridge sometime later, Hacker Lady's unconscious and Conrad is dead. Just Conrad, though.
Yep. This is not good times because we know what's going to happen now. Fucking Simmons. Okay.
Because those things are like goddamn cockroaches.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're built to survive.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do.
They find out where Jonas and Julia are. And so Teal'c and Jack are going to head off and get them. And also, I love how Sam is like, sir, he's dead.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know. Only half of him is dead.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll run to the other half. So Jack and Teal'c search. Gould Simmons finds them, and Teal'c is quickly taken out, but just briefly.
Yeah, well, I think he got a sneak attack. Basically.
It was a sneak attack.
Because they're like, what the fuck?
You get an extra damage for sneak attack.
It's like, when did you become this powerful? Oh, because you are no longer.
You're Gould now.
Yeah.
You're no longer Simmons. And he goes after Jack for a bit, and then in the struggle, Jack's head is just slammed into a wall so
Talk
hard.
about come on and slam and welcome to the jam.
So his head is
Thank you. I'll be here all night.
face jammed into the wall hard enough that he's sort of dazed pretty hardcore for a second.
Yeah.
And
no good. Like he's seeing birds.
He's seeing birds, little
Stars.
animated birds.
Let's
around
stay on
his-
scene.
And Teal'c then gets up and now is tussling with the Gould Simmons.
Yeah.
And eventually Simmons picks up a giant wrench. Not the giant wrench,
Yeah.
a different giant
But
wrench.
a giant wrench, yeah.
And just Casey at bat, just like winds up.
yeah.
We've switched sports from basketball to baseball.
Keep with us.
And the ship comes out of hyperdrive and rocks him just long enough that Jack can use his distraction to blow the hatch into space, send Gould Simmons flying.
And take this opportunity to grab Teal'c's butt.
And grab Teal'c because Teal'c does this like slow-mo tumble thing.
Uh-huh.
It's just
He's
the
like, now's
somersaults.
my chance to stick it in your pants.
You can't go! Don't say that like that!
I'm having too much fun.
Jack is not sticking it into Teal'c's pants.
Okay, fine. I mean, he has to put his hand in the pant to grab him.
Okay.
I'm just saying words.
So Jack and finally they're able to close the door, and they have this great moment of silence between them.
They're like, thanks for sticking it in my pants.
Moving on, back at the bridge.
It's my fault. I've listened to too much Dollop. It's just more fun to fuck with you than anything else. And drink.
The problem is I've started listening to Dollop too, so I know where their conversations go.
Yeah. Somehow, you become the Garrett when it comes to the making fun of. I dig it. Listen to the diet.
We're just two Garretts. There's no Dave.
We're just kind of both just fucking around.
There's no Dave on our podcast. So back on the bridge, Sam has no idea where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And the hacker lady says that there's supposed to be a planet here because they found a tablet back when they were running, that D was running off-world shit.
Oh boy, yeah.
That was written in Ancient, saying that there was a large store of weapons and technology in a secret location.
What they didn't read is the April Fool's line at the bottom of it.
Well, X marks the spot.
Yeah,
too.
Got it. Yeah, it's not good times.
No, a pirate left that. An ancient pirate.
Yes.
And so Simmons obviously wanted all the weapons and booty, but they couldn't translate the coordinates.
Mm-hmm.
But the Gould could.
Dun, 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 dun.
And from then it was just waiting for transportation to get there. So then when they heard about the X-303, they're like, ching!
This is how we get to there.
This is how we do it. But the problem is that if they don't know where they currently are, Sam doesn't know how to plot a course for home.
Right.
So now what?
This is where I thought was the end.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, we did get a pretty interesting to be continued,
Yeah.
but I was like, oh, it's here. Nope. There's
Nope.
still a couple minutes left.
So Sam is guessing that they're about 1,200 light years from home, which doesn't actually do any good since they don't know the direction. Although I'm also like, listen, if the reason you're not at the planet is because instability of the Nequadria, geez, I almost butchered every word in that sentence. So it must have sent them on. They're not like 180 degrees of where they were going. Like
They're just somewhere.
They're like in
anywhere.
It's an arc.
A cone.
An arc of a circle.
A cone of effect.
A cone of shame.
Yeah.
So like, she just has some vague idea of like a 180 degree that way direction.
Yeah. We're over here somehow.
Yeah. But just then the Asgard showed up. Just
Save
cause.
the day, except not
Except
actually.
not. Thor's hologram appears.
Yeah.
And
He gets beamed in.
Michael Shanks is credited finally as being Thor's voice, though.
Oh, yay!
It is Michael Shanks still. And this, yes, is his new body. Just like his old body.
Now he's got like a 9-pack. Or like a weird...
He's just really svelte.
Yeah, he is.
And the Asgard monitor all hyperspace activity around Earth, so they actually knew. They've been tracking him since the door.
They're like, we know you've been up to something weird, but we waited till just right now to intervene.
But instead of us helping you, We need your help, guys, because the Asgard homeworld has been overrun by replicators.
Dun, 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 dun.
And they need both SG-1 and your ship. And Jack's like, come again for Big Fudge.
Yeah, this is not good.
And we fade out with a to be continued.
I feel like the Asgard have become like this friend that's like really cool at first, and then it's like, now we need a bunch of shit from you. And you're like, oh, I thought we were just friends, but now you're just this weird needy person.
Yep.
How do I back out of this deal? Oh, I can't?
No.
Got it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, this was an interesting episode. I had a lot of fun.
Yes.
But I think I mostly had a lot of anger. Just so I'm with Jack / RDA on this one. So much anger happening.
There's parts of this episode that I really enjoy, and then parts of it. Let me just say this as I pick up my drink for you guys listening. There's at least 2 other Prometheus-based episodes that I enjoy more.
Oh boy. I don't know anything.
The bottom of this cup is just straight Southern Comfort. Just straight bourbon.
Yeah, I'm a little buzzed.
This is how we do rare.
That's what I'm going to say to explain the amount of sticking in pants that's happening.
When in doubt,
don't judge me.
Just stick it in your pants.
Stick it in your pants.
So does this go on your top list of this episode? Because I'm looking at my list and I don't think it does.
I don't think there's room for it, and I want to see how it ends. It's again, with any of the 2-parters that are kind of left, I realize that half of the story is already told. The Simmons thing, it's nice to see him gone.
He's gone. Conrad's gone. Well, I mean, we've gotten rid of 2 Earth-based baddies in one episode.
Yeah. So that's really cool, but I don't think it's on my list yet.
So now that Simmons is gone, who do you hate more, Mayborn or Kinsey?
I think...
I know my answer.
I think it is Kinsey.
It's completely Kinsey.
Yeah, because Mayborn is like back and forth a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mayborn you can toy with and can manipulate.
Yeah.
Kinsey's just a douche canoe.
Mayborn is like a level 1 baddie.
Yeah.
Whereas Kinsey's kind of like end of the video game baddie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see that.
So, okay. Next up is not Prometheus Part 2. It is Unnatural Selection.
Dun, 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 dun.
Also, we have a new Patreon.
Yay!
Todd Telef.
Thank you, Todd.
Yes.
For being cool.
You're awesome.
Some of you may have your pod cards. Some of you may not. But I know they're out there. They're out in the world.
Oh, they're all in the world. They haven't maybe traveled. They haven't completed.
Some of them have a very long distance to travel.
They're hyperspace.
Yeah,
travels.
Some of them were not able to make it to hyperspace, so they're just going old school.
They're using their sublight engines.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Sublight engines onto the pod cards.
You know what? I think the alcohol's kicking in, and I'm gonna wrap this up.
Okay.
Guys, you know where to find us. We're on Twitter at Terra Podcast.
We're on Facebook at There's No Place Like Terra.
Oh wait, one quick thing. I wanted to give a shout out to the group of people that I'm part of a Facebook group.
Oh yeah.
Can I Pet Your Dog? Which is
it's
exactly
adorable.
what it is.
It's just cute puppy pictures.
It's just puppies and people who love puppies. And one person named her puppy Teal'c.
Yes.
And then there became an entire feed of Stargate.
There's a dog named Braytac.
A dog named Abydos, which
that was really good.
I wish I'd thought of that.
So one person uses, instead of like cum, they use Cree.
Yeah, Jaffa Cree.
Which I'm like, I might start using that with Haley.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't respond to
it's
cum very well.
Add attention. So you guys are awesome, and that's but on Facebook, you can find them at Can I Pet Your Dog, which is a closed group, but you can join it. But you can find us at facebook.com/theresnoplaceliketerra.
And you can find us at patreon.com/theresnoplaceliketerra.
And email us at theresnoplaceliketerra@gmail.com.
Rate us, like us, review us on Apple Podcasts, not iTunes.
We'll see you guys next week with Unnatural Selection.
Bye.
Get out of here.
That was. Oh, you sure? I wasn't sure yet. I missed the.